John 15:12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, the father-in-law of Moses, heard all as much as the Lord did to Israel to his own people, for the Lord led Israel out of Egypt. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, took Zipporah, the wife of Moses, after her release, and the 2 sons of his. The name to the one was Gershom, saying, I was a sojourner in an alien land. And the name of the second was Eleazar, saying, For the God of my father is my helper, and he rescued me from out of the hand of Pharaoh. And came forth Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, and the sons, and the wife to Moses, into the wilderness, of which place he camped at the mountain of God. And it was announced to Moses, saying, Behold, the father-in-law of Jethro comes to you, and your wife and your 2 sons with him. Moses came forth to meet with his father-in-law, and he did obeisance to him, and he kissed him, and they greeted one another, and he brought them into the tent. Moses described to his father-in-law all as much as the Lord did to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians on account of Israel, and all the troubles that one coming to them in the way. And the Lord rescued them from out of the hand of Pharaoh, and from out of the hand of the Egyptians. Jethro was amazed by all the good things which the Lord did to them, that the Lord rescued them from out of the hand of the Egyptians, and from out of the hand of Pharaoh. Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, for he rescued his people from out of the hand of the Egyptians, and from out of the hand of Pharaoh. Now I know that the Lord is greatly above all the gods, because of this, that they made an attempt against them. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, took whole burnt offerings and sacrifices to God. For Aaron and all the elders of Israel came to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moses before God. And it came to pass after the next day, Moses sat down to judge the people, and all the people stood by Moses from morning until evening. Jethro, seeing all as much as he did to the people, says, What is this which you do to the people? Why do you sit alone, and all the people stand by you from morning until afternoon? And Moses said to the father-in-law, Because the people come to me to seek after a judgment from God. For whenever there is to them a dispute, and they should come to me, I litigate each, and I instruct them in the orders of God and his law. The father-in-law said to Moses to him, Not rightly do you do this thing. You will be corrupted in unsufferable corruption, and all this people which is with you. The thing is heavy on you. You will not be able to act yourself alone. Now then, hear me, and I should advise you, and God will be with you. You become to the people, the one before God, and you shall offer the words to God. You shall testify to them the orders of God and his law. You shall signify to them the ways in which they shall go by them, and the works which they shall do. You yourself look about all the people for mighty men and godly, just men detesting pride. You shall place them over them commanders of thousands, commanders of hundreds, commanders of 50s, and commanders of 10s. They shall judge the people at every hour, by the enormous thing that they shall offer unto you. But the little matters of the judgments they shall judge them, and they shall lighten the load from you, and shall give aid to you. If this thing you do, then God will strengthen you, and you will come to stand, and all this people shall come unto their own place with peace. Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and he did as much as he said to him. Moses chose mighty men from all Israel, and appointed them over as commanders of thousands, and commanders of hundreds, and commanders of 50s, and commanders of 10s, and judicial records. And they judged the people every hour, but the enormous matters they offered to Moses. But every light matter they judged themselves. Moses sent out his own father-in-law, and he went forth unto his land. In the 3rd month of the exodus of the sons of Israel from the land Egypt, on this day they came unto the wilderness of Sinai. They lifted away from Rephidim, and came into the wilderness of Sinai, and Israel camped there against the mountain. Moses ascended into the mountain of God, and God called him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and announce to the sons of Israel, You have seen as much as I have done to them, to the Egyptians, and I took you as upon wings of eagles, and led you to myself. Now if hearing you should hear my voice, and guard my covenant, you will be to me a prized people from all the nations, from all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a royal priesthood, and a holy nation. These words you shall say to the sons of Israel. Moses came and called the elders of the people, placed them near all these words which God gave them to order. And all the people answered with one accord, and said, All as much as God said we shall do, and we shall hearken. And Moses offered the words of the people to God. said to Moses, Behold, I come to you in a column of cloud, that the people may hear me speaking to you, and may trust you into the eon. Moses announced the words of the people to the Lord, and the Lord said to Moses, I am going down, testify to the people, and purify them today and tomorrow. Let them wash their garments, let them be prepared for the third day. From the third day the Lord shall come down upon Mount Sinai before all the people. You shall separate the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, ascending unto the mountain, and any lightly touching of it. All touching the mountain, by death he will come to an end. His hands shall not touch it, for with stones they shall be stoned, or with an arrow they shall be shot. If it be also cattle, or if it be also man, he shall not live. And whenever the voices and the trumpets and the clouds go forth from the mountain, they shall ascend to the mountain. Moses went down from the mountain to the people, and sanctified them, and washed their garments. He said to the people, Be prepared 3 days, come forward not to a woman. And it came to pass on the third day, happening towards dawn, there were voices and lightnings and overcast clouds upon Mount Sinai. The voice of the trumpet sounded greatly, and all the people in the camp were terrified. Moses led the people for a meeting with God from the camp, and they stood by the mountain. The Mount Sinai smoked entirely on account of God coming down upon it in fire, and the smoke ascended as smoke of a furnace. All the people were exceedingly amazed. There were the sounds of the trumpet advancing strong. Exceedingly Moses spoke, and God answered to him by voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, upon the top of the mountain. And the Lord called Moses unto the top of the mountain, and Moses ascended. God said to Moses, saying, Go down to testify to the people, lest at any time they should approach to God to contemplate, and a multitude of them should fall. The priests, the one approaching to the Lord God, let them be sanctified, lest at any time the Lord should get rid of them. Moses said to God, The people shall not be able to ascend to Mount Sinai, for you testified to us, saying, Separate from the mountain and sanctify it. The Lord said to him, Proceed, go down, and then ascend, you and Aaron with you. But the priests and the people shall not use force to ascend to God, lest at any time the Lord should destroy some of them. Moses went down to the people, and spoke to them. And the Lord spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord God, the one leading you from the land of Egypt, from out of the house of slavery. There shall not be to you other gods besides me. You shall not make to yourself an idol, nor any representation, as much as is in the heaven upward, nor as much as is in the earth below, nor as much as is in the waters underneath the earth. You shall not do obeisance to them, nor shall you serve to them. For I am the Lord your God, a jealous God, rendering sins of fathers upon children unto the third and fourth generation, to the ones detesting me, and having mercy to thousands loving me, and guarding my orders. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for no way shall the Lord cleanse the one taking his name in vain. Remember the day of the Sabbath to sanctify it. 6 days you shall work, and shall do all your works. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall not do on it any work, you and your sons and your daughters, your servant, your maidservant, your ox, your beasts of burden, all your cattle, and the convert, the one sojourning among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, and the earth, and the sea, and all the things in them. He rested on the seventh day. Because of this the Lord blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it. Esteem your father and your mother, that good should happen to you, and that you may be a long time upon the good earth which the Lord your God gives to you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not witness falsely against your neighbor as a lying witness. You shall not covet the wife of your neighbor. You shall not covet the house of your neighbor, nor his field, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his beast of burden, nor any of his beasts, nor the much is to your neighbor. All the people perceived the voice, and the lamps, and the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking, and fearing all the people stood afar off. They said to Moses, You speak to us, and do not let God speak to us, lest we might die. Moses said to them, Be of courage, because God came to you to test you, so that there might be fear in him that you should not sin. All the people stood afar off, but Moses entered into the dimness where God was. And the Lord said to Moses, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and announce to the sons of Israel, You have seen that from out of the heavens I have spoken to you. You shall not make to yourselves gods of silver and gods of gold. You shall not make them to yourselves an altar from out of the earth. You shall make to me. You shall sacrifice upon it your whole burnt offerings, and your deliverance offerings, the sheep, and your calves. In every place whichever I should name my name there, I will come to you, and I will bless you. If you shall make an altar of stones to me, you shall not build them cut into shape, for you have put your knife upon them, and they are defiled. You shall not ascend by stairs unto my altar, so that you should not uncover your indecency upon it.
These are the ordinances which you shall place before them. If you should acquire a Hebrew servant, he shall serve to you 6 years. For the 7th year you shall send him free without charge. If he alone should enter, also alone he shall go forth. But if a wife should enter together with him, also the wife shall go out together with him. If the master should give to him a wife, and she should bear to him sons and daughters, the wife and the children shall be his master's, and he alone shall go forth by himself. If responding the servant should have said, I have loved my master, and my wife and the children I do not run free, then this master shall lead him to the judgment seat of God, and then lead him to the door unto the doorpost. And his master shall make a hole in the ear with the shoemaker's awl, and shall serve to him into the eon. But if any should give over his own daughter as a domestic servant, she shall not go forth as the maidservants run forth. If she should not be well pleasing to her master, who did not solemnly promise her, on payment of ransom he shall release her. But the master is not to sell her to an alien nation, for he disrespected her. If to his son he solemnly promised her, according to the ordinance of the daughters he shall commit to her. And if he should take another woman to himself, the things necessary, and the clothes, and her companionship he shall not deprive. If these 3 things he should not do for her, she shall go forth freely without paying money. If any should strike any, he should die. To death let him be put to death. But if it be done not willingly, but God delivered up into his hand, I will give to you a place in which he shall flee there, the one man slain. But if any should set up against the neighbor to kill him by treachery, and should take refuge, you should take him from my altar to be put to death. Whoever beats his father or his mother to death, he should be put to death. For the one speaking evils of his father or his mother, to death let him come to an end. Whoever should steal any of the ones of the sons of Israel, and tyrannizing him should give him over, and should be found with him, to death let him come to an end. If 2 men revile each other, and one should strike the neighbor with a stone or fist, he should not die, but lie down upon the bed. If in arising the man should walk outside upon his cane, the one striking will be innocent, except he shall pay for his idleness and the physician's fee. But if any strike his servant or his maidservant with a rod, and one die by his hand, with punishment let him be punished. If the one should continue to live 1 or 2 days, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. If 2 men should be combatant, and should strike a woman having one in the womb, should come forth her child not completely formed, with a fine he shall be penalized, in so far as the husband of the woman should put upon him, and it shall give by means of what is fit. If it should be completed formed, he shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if any should strike the eye of his manservant, or the eye of his female attendant, and she should blind, you shall send them free on account of their eye. If the tooth of the manservant or the tooth of his female attendant he should knock out, he shall send them free on account of their tooth. If a bull shall gore a man or woman and either die, with stones you shall stone the bull. You shall not eat of its meat, but the owner of the bull shall be innocent. But if the bull was goring before yesterday, and before the 3rd day before, and men testify to its owner, and he should not remove it, if it should have done away with a man or a woman, they shall stone the bull and the owner if it shall die in addition. If ransom shall be put to him, he shall give ransom for the life of it, as much as she should be put upon him. If a son or daughter should be gored according to this ordinance, they shall observe it. And if the bull should have gored a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give 30 double drachmas of silver to their owner, and the bull shall be stoned. If any should open a pit or a quarry pit, and should not cover it, and a calf or a donkey shall fall in, the owner of the pit shall pay. He shall give money to the owner, and the animal coming to an end will be his. If any bull should gore the bull of the neighbor, and it should come to an end, they shall give over the living bull for sale, and divide the money from it, and the bull having died they shall divide. If it is made known that the bull is given to goring before yesterday and before the 3rd, and they should have been testifying to its owner, and he did not remove it, he shall pay bull for bull, but the bull coming to an end will be his. Should steal a calf or a sheep, and should slay it or should sell it, he shall pay 5 calves for the sheep, and for the calf, and 4 sheep for the sheep. If the thief should be found in the ditch, and being struck should die, it is not murder to him striking. But if the sun should rise upon him, he is liable, he shall die for it. And if there be no possessions to him, let him be sold for the theft. If anything should be left and should be found in his hand from the theft, from both donkey unto sheep which may be living, he shall pay double for it. And if any should graze upon a field or a vineyard, and should let his cattle graze upon another field, he shall pay for his field according to his produce. But if all the field should be grazed upon, he shall pay for his best field, and from his best vineyard. If a fire going forth should find thorn bushes, and should set on fire a threshing floor, or corn, or a field, the one burning with the fire should pay. And if any should give to his neighbor silver, or items to guard, it shall be stolen from out of the house of the man. If the one stealing should be found, he shall pay double. And if any should give to his neighbor silver or items to guard, and it should be stolen from out of the house of the man, if the one stealing should be found, he shall pay double. But if the one stealing should not be found, the master of the house shall come forward before God, and shall swear by an oath that assuredly he did not do wickedly regarding all that was in deposit for the care of his neighbor, according to every particular offense concerning both calf and beast of burden, sheep and garment, and every destruction being accused. The one who then should be before God, the judgment of both shall come. Then the one convicted by God shall pay double to his neighbor. If any should give to the neighbor a beast of burden, or a calf or sheep, or any cattle to guard, and it should break or come to an end, or become captive, and no one should know, there shall be an oath of God between both, swearing that assuredly he had not done wickedly to partake of altogether of the deposit put in care by his neighbor. And thus his owner shall receive him favorably, and he shall not pay. If it be stolen from him, he shall pay the owner of it. And if it should be taken by wild beasts, you shall lead him to the game, and he shall not pay. If anyone should ask to borrow from his neighbor, and it should break, or die, or become captive, and the owner of it should not be with it, he shall pay. If it's the owner should be with it, he shall not pay. But if a hireling should be with it, it will be him for his wage. If any should beguile a virgin not betrothed, and should go to bed with her, he shall endow her to himself as a wife with a dowry. But if in shaking he shakes his head in dissent, and her father should not be willing to give her to him as wife, he shall pay to the father silver according to as much as is the dowry of the virgins. You shall not procure administrators of potions. Everyone going to bed with a beast, to death you shall kill them. The one sacrificing to God should be utterly destroyed, except to the Lord alone. And you shall not maltreat a foreigner, nor should you afflict him, for you were foreigners in the land of Egypt. Every widow and orphan you shall not maltreat, and if you should maltreat them, and cry out, they shall yell out to me in hearing, and I shall listen to their yell, and I shall be provoked to anger with rage, and I will kill you by the sword, and your wives will be widows, and your children orphans. And if money should be lent with interest to the brother that is destitute, close to you, you shall not be coercing him, you shall not place interest upon him. And if for collateral you shall take for security the cloak of your neighbor, before the descent of the sun you shall give it back to him. For this is his wraparound garment, his alone is his cloak for indecency. In what manner shall he go to bed? If then he should yell out to me, I will listen to him, for I am merciful. You shall not speak evil of magistrates and rulers of the people. You shall not speak wickedly. You shall not be late of your first fruits of the threshing floor and wine vat. Your firstborn son you shall give to me, so that you shall do with your calves and your sheep and your beasts of burden. 7 days it shall be under the mother, but the 8th day you shall give it back to me, and you shall be holy men to me. And meat in a field taken by wild beasts you shall not eat, but throw it away to the dogs. Welcome a vain report. You shall not assent together with the unjust to become an unjust witness. You shall not be with many people for evils. You shall not be added with a multitude to turn aside a judgment. You shall not show mercy in a judgment because one is needy. And if you should meet with the ox of your enemy, or with his beast of burden wandering, by returning you shall give it back to him. If you should see the beast of burden of your enemy falling under its load of merchandise, you shall not go by it, but you shall raise it with him. You shall not turn aside a judgment of the needy in his judgment. From all things unjust you shall abstain. For the innocent and the just you shall not kill. You shall not give justice to the impious because of bribes. Bribes you shall not receive, for the bribes blind the eyes for seeing and lay waste just matters. A foreigner you shall not maltreat, nor in any way inflict. For you know the soul of the foreigner, for you yourselves were foreigners in the land of Egypt. 6 years you shall sow your land, and shall gather its produce. But on the 7th you shall make a release from work, and spare it, and the poor of your nature shall eat. And the thing being left behind of them, the wild beast shall eat of the field. Thus you shall do with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days you shall do your works, but on the 7th you shall rest, that your ox may rest and your beast of burden, and that the son of your maidservant may be refreshed, and the foreigner. All as much as I have spoken to you, guard. In the name of other gods you shall not call to mind, nor should one be heard from out of your mouth. 3 times of the year solemnize a holiday to me, the holiday of the unleavened bread, to keep to do. 7 days you shall eat unleavened breads, just as I gave charge to you, according to the time of the month of the new produce. For in it you came forth from out of Egypt. You shall not appear before me empty. And a holiday of the harvest of the first produce you shall observe of your works. But you shall observe of your works whatever you sow in your field. And a holiday of completion at the conclusion of the year, and the gathering of your works, the ones from out of your field. 3 times a year every male of yours shall appear before the Lord your God. For whatever I shall cast out the nations from your face, and widen your boundaries, you shall not sacrifice with yeast the blood of my sacrifice, neither shall the fat of my holiday feast remain through the night until morning. The first fruits of the first produce of your land you shall carry into the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a lamb in her mother's milk. Behold, I send my messenger before your face, that he may guard you in the way, that he may bring you into the land which I prepared for you. Take heed to yourself, and hearken to me. Do not resist his persuasion, for he should not avoid you, for my name is upon him. If in hearing you shall hearken to my voice, and do all as much as I give charge to you, I will be an enemy to your enemies, and I will be an adversary to the ones being an adversary of you. For my messenger shall go leading you, and he will bring you to the Amorite, and Hittite, and Perizzite, and Canaanite, and Girgashite, and Hivite, and Jebusite, and I will obliterate them. You shall not do obeisance to their gods, nor shall you serve to them. You shall not do according to their works, but by demolition you shall demolish them, and by breaking you shall break their monuments. You shall serve to the Lord your God, and I will bless your bread, and your wine, and your water, and I will turn infirmity from you. It will not be barren nor sterile upon your land, the number of your days, and I will fill up. The fear of me I will send leading before you, and I will startle all the nations into which you enter into them, and I will give over all your opponents unto exile. I will send the swarms of wasps in front of you, and I will cast out the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Canaanites, and the Hittites from you. I will not cast them from your face in 1 year, that the land should not become wilderness, and many wild beasts should happen upon you in the land. According to little by little I will cast them from you, until whenever you should grow and be heirs of the land. I will establish your boundaries from the Red Sea unto the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness unto the river of the great Euphrates. I will deliver up into your hands the ones lying in wait in the land, and I will cast them from you. You shall not assent together with them, and with their gods you shall not establish a covenant. They shall not lie in wait in your land, lest they should cause you to sin against me. For if you should be a slave to their gods, there will be to you an occasion for stumbling. He said, Ascend to the Lord, you and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 7 of the elders of Israel, and they shall do obeisance far off from the Lord. Moses shall approach alone to God, but they shall not approach, and the people shall not go up with them. Moses entered and described to the people all the words of God and the ordinances. And all the people answered in one voice, saying, All the words which the Lord spoke we will do, and we will hearken. Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. And Moses, rising early in the morning, built an altar by the mountain, and with 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. He sent out the young men of the sons of Israel, and they offered whole burnt offerings, and a sacrifice of deliverance to God of young calves. Moses, taking half of the blood, poured it into a basin, and the other half of the blood he poured upon the altar. Taking the scroll of the covenant, he read into the ears of all the people, and they said, All as much as the Lord spoke we shall do, and we shall hearken to. And Moses, taking the blood, he scattered it upon the people. And he said, Behold, the blood of the covenant of which the Lord ordained for you concerning all these words. And Moses ascended, and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. They saw the place where the God of Israel stood, and the things under his feet were as the brickwork of sapphire, as the form of firmament of the heaven, and the cleanliness. Of the chosen ones of Israel, none dissented, not one. And they appeared in the place of God, and they ate and they drank. The Lord said to Moses, Ascend to me unto the mountain, and you be there. I will give to you the stone writing tablets of the law, and the commandments which I wrote to establish law to them. Moses rising up, and Joshua, the one standing beside him, ascended into the mountain of God. They said to the elders, Be still here until we return to you. Behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If anyone should come for a judgment, let them go to them. Moses ascended into the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. The glory of God came down upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. The Lord called Moses on the 7th day from out of the midst of the cloud, and the sight of the glory of the Lord was as fire blazing upon the top of the mountain before the son of Israel. Moses entered into the midst of the cloud, and ascended unto the mountain, and was there on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, and take to me firstfruits of all the things which seem good in the heart. You shall take the firstfruits of mine, and this is the firstfruit which you shall take of them: gold, silver, brass, blue, purple, scarlet doubled up, and linen being twined, and hairs of goats, skins of rams being dyed red, and skins of blue, and incorruptible wood, oil for the giving light, incense for the oil of the anointing, and for the composition of the incense, stones of sardius, and stones for the carving for the shoulder piece, and the foot-length rope. You shall make for me a sanctuary, and I will be seen by you. You shall make for me according to all as much as I show you in the mountain, the model of the tent, and the model of all the items of it. Even so shall you do. You shall make an ark of testimony from out of incorruptible wood, 2 cubits and a half the length, and a cubit and a half the width, and a cubit and a half the height. You shall gild it with pure gold from inside and from outside, and you shall gild it. You shall make for it a waved border of gold twisted round about. You shall forge for it 4 rings of gold. You shall place them upon the 4 sides, 2 rings upon the one side, 2 rings upon the second side. You shall make bearing poles from incorruptible wood. You shall gild them with gold. You shall bring the bearing poles into the rings, the one on the side of the ark, to lift the ark by them. In the rings of the ark of the covenant, the bearing poles will be fixed. You shall put into the ark the testimonies whichever I give to you. You shall make an atonement seat a lid of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half is the length, and 1.5 cubits the width. You shall make 2 cherubim wrought in gold, and you shall place them at both of the sides of the atonement seat. You shall make 1 cherub from out of this one side, and 1 cherub from out of the second side of the atonement seat. Then you shall make the 2 cherubims upon the 2 sides. The 2 cherubim will be stretching out the wings on top, overshadowing with their wings above the atonement seat, and their faces to one another. The faces of the cherubim will be towards the atonement seat. And you shall place the atonement seat upon the ark from above, and into the ark you shall put the testimonies which I shall give to you. I'll make known to you from there, and I'll speak to you from above the atonement seat between the 2 cherubim, being upon the ark of the testimony, and according to all as much as I give charge to you for the sons of Israel. You shall make a table of incorruptible woods, of 2 cubits being the length, 1 cubit the breadth, and 1.5 cubits the height. You shall gild it in pure gold. You shall make for it a twisted waver border of gold round about. You shall make for a rim of a palm width round about, and you shall make a twisted border on the rim round about waved. You shall make it 4 rings of gold, and you shall place the 4 rings upon the 4 parts of its feet under the rim. And the rings shall be for holders for the bearing poles, so as to lift the table. You shall make the bearing poles from out of incorruptible wood. You shall gild them with pure gold, and the table shall be lifted by them. You shall make it saucers, and the incense pans, and the libation bowls, the cups in which you shall offer a libation in them of pure gold, and you shall make them. You shall place upon the tables bread loaves face to face before me always. You shall make a lampstand from out of pure gold. A turned piece you shall make the lampstand. Its stem, and the branches, and the basins, and the knobs, and the lilies will be of it, and 6 branches going forth sideways, 3 branches of the lampstand from out of the one side, 3 branches of the lampstand from the second side, and 3 basins being shaped nut-like on the one branch, with a knob and a lily thus to the 6 branches of the ones going forth from out of the lampstand. In the lampstand 4 basins being shaped nut-like to the one branch, the knobs and its lilies, the knob under the 2 branches from out of it, a knob under the other 2 branches from out of it, thus to the 6 branches, to the ones going forth from out of the lampstand. The knobs and the branches from out of it, let them be entirely turned from out of one piece of pure gold. You shall make it 7 lamps, and you shall place its lamps. They shall shine forth from the one before it, and its funnel and its underparts from out of pure gold. The talents of pure gold you shall make all these items. See that you should make according to the impression being shown to you on the mountain. Tent you shall make 10 curtains of linen being twined, and blue and purple and scarlet, twined with cherubim. A work of a weaver you shall make them. The length of the one curtain shall be 28 cubits, and a breadth of 4 cubits shall be to the one curtain. The same measure shall be to all the curtains. And 5 curtains will be of one another, being held the other with the other. 5 curtains will be of one another, being held the other with the other. And you shall make for them hooks of blue upon the edge of the one curtain, joining the one part to the coupling, and thus you shall make upon the edge of the outer curtain for the second coupling. 50 hooks you should make for the one curtain. 50 hooks you shall make for the part of the curtain corresponding to the coupling of the second, and facing headlong into one another each. You shall make 50 hooks of gold, and you shall join together the curtains one to another to the hooks, and the tent will be the one. You shall make hide coverings of hair for protection upon the tent. 11 hide coverings you shall make them. The length of the one hide covering will be 30 cubits, and 4 cubits, the breadth of the one hiding covering. The same measure will be to the 11 hide coverings. You shall join together the 5 hide coverings to the same, and the 6 hide coverings to the same. You shall double up the 6 hide coverings in front of the tent, and you shall make 50 hooks upon the edge of the one hide covering, of the one in the middle by the coupling, and 50 hooks you should make upon the edge of the hide covering, of the one joining of the second. You shall make 50 hooks of brass. You shall join together the hooks by the hooks. You shall join together the hide coverings, and it shall be one. You shall set the extra in the hide coverings of the tent. The half of the hide covering being left over you shall cover up for the extra of the hide covering of the tent. And you shall cover up behind the tent, a cubit from the side, and a cubit from that side of the superior part of the hide covering, of the length of the hide covering of the tent, and it will be to the cover up the sides of the tent on this side and that side that should be covered. You shall make a covering of the tent skins of rams dyed red, and coverings of skins of blue on top. You shall make posts for the tent from out of incorruptible wood. Of 10 cubits you shall make the one post, and 1.5 cubits the width of the one post. 2 joints to the one post resting headlong against one to the other. Thus you shall make to all the posts of the tent. You shall make the posts for the tent 20 posts by the side toward the south, and 40 bases of silver you shall make for the 20 posts. 2 bases to the one post for both its parts, and 2 bases to the other one post for both its parts, and the second side toward the north 20 posts, and 40 bases for them made of silver, 2 bases to the one post for both its parts, and 2 bases for the other one post for both its parts. And by the rear of the tent, by the parts toward the west, you shall make 6 posts, and 2 posts you shall make at the corners of the tent at the posteriors. They shall be of equal below, and according to the same measurement, they shall be equal from the heads unto one coupling. Thus shall you make to both the 2 corners, and let them be equal. And there shall be 8 posts, and their bases of silver, 16, and 2 bases to the one post, and 2 bases to the other one post. You shall make bars from out of incorruptible wood, 5 to the posts from the one part of the tent, and 5 bars to the post to the second side of the tent, 5 bars for the post on the posterior side of the tent, the one toward the west, and the middle bar in between the posts let it penetrate from the one side unto the other side. Let the posts you shall gild in gold, and the rings you shall make of gold, into which you shall insert the bars, and shall gild the bars in gold. You shall raise the tent according to the forms being shown to you in the mountain. You shall make a veil from out of blue and purple and scarlet being twined, and linen being spun. And you shall make it a woven work with cherubim. You shall place it upon 4 posts of incorruptible wood being gilded in gold, and the tips of them in gold, and their 4 bases made of silver. You shall put the veil upon the posts, and you shall carry in there inside the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall be testament to you to separate you between the holy and between the holies of the holies. You shall cover up by the veil the ark of the testimony, and the holy of the holies. And you shall put the table outwardly of the veil, and the lampstand directly opposite the table, near the part of the tent toward the south. And the table you shall put by the part of the tent toward the north. And you shall make a draw curtain for the door of blue and purple, and scarlet being twined, and linen being twined, and the work of an embroiderer. And you shall make for the veil 5 posts. You shall gild them with gold, and the tips of them of gold, and you shall cast for them 5 bases of brass. O one tending Israel, take heed, O one guiding Joseph, as sheep, the one sitting down upon the cherubim, appear before Ephraim, and Benjamin, and Manasseh. Awaken your might, and come for the delivering us. O God, turn toward us, let your face appear, and we shall be delivered. O Lord, God of the forces, for how long are you provoked to anger over the prayer of your servants? You shall feed us bread of tears, and give us to drink with tears by measure. You made us for dispute to our neighbors, and our enemies sneer at us. O Lord, God of the forces, turn toward us, let your face appear, and we shall be delivered. You moved a grapevine from out of Egypt. You cast out nations and planted her. You opened a way before her, and you planted her roots, and the earth was filled. Her shadow covered mountains, and her tendrils covered the cedars of God. You stretched out her vine branches unto the sea, and her shoots unto the rivers. Why did you demolish her barrier, and all the ones passing by the way gather our vintage? The pig for the forest laid her wasted, and the wild boar feeds on her. O God of the forces, turn toward us indeed. Look upon us from out of heaven. Behold and visit the grapevine. Visit her whom your right hand planted, and upon the Son of Man whom you fortified to yourself. She is being set on fire and being dug up. For the reproach of your face they shall be destroyed. Let your hand be upon the man of your right, even upon the Son of Man whom you have strengthened to yourself. For in no way should we separate from you. You shall live in us, and we shall call upon your name. O Lord, God of the forces, turn toward us. Let your face appear, and we shall be delivered. Exalt to God our helper. Shout to the God of Jacob. Take a psalm and utter a sound on the tambourine, and the delightful psaltery with the harp. Trump down during the new moon, a trumpet in the well-market day of your holiday. For it is an order to Israel, and a judgment by the God of Jacob. He made it to be a testimony among Joseph, during his coming forth from out of the land of Egypt, a tongue which knew not he heard. He removed his back from tribute, his hands were enslaved to the hamper. In affliction you called upon me, and I rescued you. I hated you in the concealed place of the gale. I tried you at the water of dispute. Hear, O my people, and I will testify to you, O Israel, if you should hear me. There will not be in you a God that newly made, nor shall you do obeisance to an alien God. For I am the Lord your God, the one leading you from out of the land of Egypt. Widen your mouth, and I shall fill it. But my people do not hear my voice, and Israel gave no heed to me. I sent them out according to the practices of their hearts. They shall go in their practices. If my people heard me, if Israel were gone by my ways, not the less would I humble their enemies, and when I put my hand upon the ones afflicting them. The enemies of the Lord lied to him, and their time will be into the eon. He fed them of the fat of wheat, and he filled them from out of the rock with honey.
Better a morsel with satisfaction and peace than a house full of many good things and unjust things offered for sacrifices with battles. An intelligent servant shall prevail over foolish matters, and among brethren he shall divide portions. As silver and gold tried in a furnace, so choice hearts by the Lord. A bad man obeys the tongues of lawbreakers, and an unjust man heeds lying lips. The one ridiculing the poor provokes the one making him, and the one rejoicing at one being destroyed shall not be acquitted. But the one showing compassion shall be shown mercy. Children's children are the crown of the aged, and children are the boasting of their fathers. The entire world of things is of the trustworthy, but for the unbelieving not an obulus. Trustworthy lips shall not suit a fool, nor lying lips to the just. The instruction to the one employing it is a favorable wage, and wherever it should turn, the way shall be prosperous. One who hides offenses seeks friendship, but the one who detests hiding it sets apart friends and family members. Intimidation breaks down the heart of the intelligent, but a fool being whipped does not perceive. Disputes arise with every evil man, but the Lord shall send forth an unmerciful angel against him. Anxiety shall fall unto an intelligent man, but the fool shall argue evil things. One who repays evil things for good things, evil things shall not be removed from out of his house. The sovereignty of righteousness shall give authority to words, but faction and fighting lead to lack. The one who judges the unjust as just, or the just as unjust, is unclean and abominable before God. Why did riches exist to the fool? For the heartless will not be able to acquire wisdom. The one who makes his own house high seeks destruction. The one being crooked to learn shall fall into evils. For all time let the friend exist to you. Let the brethren be profitable in distresses. For this favor they were born. The foolish man claps and rejoices over himself, as also the one guaranteeing a loan by a surety for his own friend. The one fond of sinning rejoices in fights, and the hard-hearted one does not meet with good things. The man with the changeable tongue will fall into evils, and the heart of a fool is grief to its possessor. A father is not glad over an uninstructed son, but an intelligent son gladdens his mother. The heart being glad makes to be in good health, but a distracted man dries the bones. The one receiving gifts in enfolded arms unjustly does not greatly prosper in the ways, and an impious man turns aside the ways of righteousness. The countenance of a wise man is discerning, but the eyes of a fool are unto the uttermost parts of the earth. A foolish son is anger to a father, and grief to the one birthing him. To penalize a just man is not good, nor is it sacred to plot against just monarchs. The one sparing to let go a hard word is an arbitrator, and a lenient man is intelligent. To an unthinking man asking, wisdom shall be imputed, and any dumb man doing for himself shall be seen intelligent. 1 Timothy 4:10-12. For therefore we both labor and suffer reproach, because we trust in the living God, who is the Savior of all men, especially of those that believe. These things command and teach. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers, in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Dan Coates, who served for a number of years as the United States Senator from Indiana, told this story. I recently saw the story of a high school values clarification class conducted by a teacher in Teaneck, New Jersey. A girl in the class had found a purse containing $1,000 and returned it to the owner. The teacher asked for the class's reaction. Every single one of her fellow students concluded the girl had been foolish. Most of the students contended that if someone was careless, they should be punished. When the teacher was asked what he said to the students, he responded, "Well, of course I didn't say anything. If I come from the position of what is right, what is wrong, then I'm not their counselor. I can't impose my views." While silence may be the simple response to attempt to avoid trouble, as children of God we are called to be people who not only believe the truth, but who live by it ourselves and are willing to speak it to others. Our purpose in this life is not to be popular and widely accepted, but to be examples of godly living. Our living as well as our words should be a constant declaration that as much of the family of God we have differently than those who live in the world. Paul wrote that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. The truth is worth standing up for, no matter how many may stand against us, and no matter how much opposition and ridicule we may face. The world needs to see a clear light of God's truth from those of us who knows it.
Learn to laugh at yourself more freely. Don't take yourself or your circumstances so seriously. Relax and know that I am God with you, and when you desire my will above all else, life becomes much less threatening. Stop trying to monitor my responsibilities, things that are beyond your control. Find freedom by accepting the boundaries of your domain, for laughter lightens your load and lifts your heart into the heavenly places. Your laughter rises to heaven, and it blends with angelic melodies of praise. Just as parents delight in the laughter of their children, so I delight in hearing my children's laugh. I rejoice when you trust me enough to enjoy your life lightheartedly. Do not miss the joy of my presence by carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, but rather take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For my yoke is comfortable and it is pleasant. My burden is light and easily borne. Proverb 17:22. For a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she can laugh at the days to come. Matthew 1:23. And the virgins will be with child and will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. Matthew 11:29 and 30. For take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is wholesome and good. It's not harsh, it's not hard or sharp or pressing, but it's comfortable and gracious and very pleasant. My burden is light and easy to be borne.